Hello and welcome to another grammar video. This is Preetinder Kaur for Perfect Scores, and in this grammar video we are going to discuss comparisons. It's a very important topic and we make use of comparisons a lot of times, so it is a really essential topic for you to know. So comparisons are usually done whenever you use adjectives. And if you've watched the previous video, you might know what are adjectives. For example, a color or a quality, or even any kind of description. For example, large, small, far, near. So whenever we use comparisons, there are three kinds of comparisons that are there in adjectives. And we are going to discuss all of them one by one. So look at this sentence. I am taller than Eliza. Now in this sentence, the meaning is that my height is more than Eliza's height. I am taller than Eliza. So look at this word over here, taller than. This shows that one person is taller than the other. So taller than is used when we're talking about two things. Or the mango is sweeter than the grape. This again, the comparison that is being used is sweeter than. And it's being used to compare two fruits. One is the mango, one is the grape. So that is an example of comparison. Now let's look at few other examples. So when you talk about two things, we use these comparisons. But what about one thing? If I say, I am tall, tall is being used to talk about only one person, that is I. This is known as the positive degree of the adjective. But when I talk about two people, let's say building A is taller than building B. I'm using taller than because I'm comparing two things. This taller is known as the comparative degree. But if you want to show that building A is the tallest of all, that means three or more items are being compared. So you say building A is the tallest. So I'm using tallest when I'm talking about three or more items that are being compared. So building A is the tallest of them. This is known as superlative degree. So we're going to do some examples where I'm going to list down the positive degree and then we will find out the comparative degree and the superlative degree. For example, look at these different words: tall, small, and let's see, red, brave, large, deep, black, dark, light. So these are all the positive degrees. Now we need to compare them and we need to convert them into the comparative. So tall becomes taller, and from comparative it becomes superlative, tallest. Similarly, small becomes smaller and smallest. Red becomes redder. then becomes reddest. Now, one thing you observe here, we have added another D. So that's a little different from the earlier ones, because in the earlier ones there was already a double L in taller, in smaller, in tallest and smallest. So we don't need to add another L, but in case of red, we need to add another D. Now look at how this is going to change. Words that already end with E, you don't need to add ER, you need to add just an R. So brave becomes braver, and then brave becomes bravest. So you just need to add the ST and the R. Similarly, large becomes larger, and large becomes largest. Let's look at deep. Now, deep will be deeper. We are not adding another P here. And deeper becomes deepest. Again, we're not adding another P, so it's a little different from red, redder, reddest. Black. Again, we will not be adding anything. We will just put the ER, and blackest, EST. Similarly, dark will become darker and will become darkest. Light will become lighter, and then it will become lightest. So this is what usually happens, but there are some words that get completely changed. Let's have a look at those words. For example, little becomes less, becomes least. Good becomes better, becomes best. Bad does not become better, it becomes worse, becomes worst. And similarly, much becomes more, becomes most. But what about words like intelligent? Or words like beautiful? You cannot say beautifuler or beautifulest. So what do? You add the more and the most. So intelligent becomes more intelligent. Beautiful becomes more beautiful. More intelligent becomes more intelligent. And more beautiful becomes most beautiful. And then another thing you need to know is what to do in case of adverbs. So in case of adverbs, let's have a look at some adverbs. Happily, lazily, sleepily. Adverbs, these adverbs are not going to change completely, so we'll just say more happily. Similarly, more lazily, or more sleepily. Similarly, you will have most happily, most lazily, and most sleepily. And the words that end with ly, now again back to adjectives, like happy, lazy, sleepy. When these adjectives need to change into comparative, you remove the y and you put IER. So this becomes happier, lazier, sleepier. This becomes happiest, laziest, and sleepiest. So I hope this was clear. And just to end everything, I'm going to give you a few examples. For example, I am happier now than I was yesterday. So I'm comparing the happiness levels today and yesterday. Happier now than I was yesterday. I feel more happier than I did yesterday. What do you think? This is a correct sentence or is it a wrong sentence? This is a sentence that uses an extra word. When we can already convert happy to happier, you don't need to use more. So the correct sentence should just say happier than. I am shorter than this pole. Or this pole is the shortest one here. This pole is short. So in this one, I'm using the positive degree because I'm talking only about one pole. In this one, I am using the superlative degree because I'm talking about all poles, and this pole is the shortest one. And in this one, I am shorter than this pole. I'm comparing only two things, so I'm using the comparative degree. So that is how you need to use them in your real life. I hope this video was a bit educative, and I hope that you'll be able to use comparisons in a better way. Thank you so much for watching this video. And don't forget, this is Preeti Kaur from Perfect Scores.